Hi, this is Unchained CEO, and I'm Caleb Jones. This is how to create your own location independent 9-to-5 business, or excuse me, it's not 9-to-5 business, that frees you from your 9-to-5 life, also makes you location independent, and allows you to, I got to move my microphone here, also allows you to spend more time abroad, or at least set up an international backup plan, or even perhaps move to a less bad country and do all these things for very little money. And today I'm going to discuss going from 0 to 5 figures a year, to 6 figures a year, to 7 figures a year. And I'm going to go into detail about that. And I'm actually going to discuss an aspect of that I have not really discussed much publicly. Hang on a second. StreamYard, which is the system I use to do these live streams, has changed their GUI, their GUI. You still call it GUI? Or was that a 90s thing when I was growing up? I need to confirm I'm actually live here. Hang on. Hang on a moment. Sorry for the delay. The screen doesn't look right. Why does this not look right? No, we are. Okay, good. All right. Sorry about that. I did a live stream on my other channel, Alpha Male 2.0, my other YouTube channel / podcast yesterday. And I don't normally watch my own live streams and videos because I'm outcome independent. I don't care. I don't care how I look. That's your problem. But every once in a while I do. And this morning I watched about half of the live stream I did yesterday. And I went, God, Caleb, you're being kind of an a-hole. You're being a little aggressive, even for you. You don't have to be that aggressive. I mean, yeah, you got to yell at these guys, but not that much. So today I'm going to try to bring the energy level down 10%, no more than 10%. And I think it's because, the reason it was like that, I think, is because doing a lot of fasting, I've discussed this, and some days I'm really hungry. And so maybe yesterday I was so hungry, I was like, Rah! I think maybe hangry. So who knows? When you fast, like I am fasting, when you don't eat all day, you have days you feel fine, you're hungry, but you feel okay. And you have days you're just starving. And yesterday and today, I am so hungry. I'm ready to go eat a horse. Literally, there's these barking dogs in Paraguay. I'm ready to go eat one of those fucking things right now. That's how hungry I am. So yes, correct. It is very rainy here in Asuncion today. I sent a little video to my wife and saying, it looks like Portland. We used to live in Portland. Remember rain? So yes. So anyway, I'm going to try to keep the energy level a little lower. So I'm leaning back a little bit today. We'll see how successful I am by the time I'm done with this. Once I get worked up into a frothy frenzy. So today, what I normally would do for a topic like this is to give you slides, but I realized when I started doing slides for this, I've already done slides for this topic, 6 figures, 7 figures, and I'm going to discuss different aspects this day that don't necessarily require slides. So if you really want slides, I've done at least 3 live streams where I went into detail on slides, scaling from 0 to 6 figures and then from 6 figures to 7 figures. So if you want that, search on my podcasts or my Unchained CEO YouTube channel for 7 figures or 6 figures, and they will come up, and I've done several of those. So there's no slides today. And so if you're listening to the podcast, you probably don't care. If you're on YouTube, then you can just see my beautiful, sexy face instead of slides. But hang on one second. I have to do one more quick thing. I forgot to do something. I apologize. Hang on. Sorry about this. Give me 1 second. The beauty of live streaming when you're not prepared. A lot of meetings today. Okay, there we go. Going from starting your own business from 0, I'll call that 0. So when I talk about your income, I'm talking about your income as a self-employed Alpha 2.0 business owner. Even if you're a woman can have an Alpha 2.0 business. That's why I take the word male out of it when it's an Alpha 2.0 business. That is a low work, high income, high profit, high margin service or consulting or coaching based business that is to a narrow niche, like I've talked about 10,000 times. So I'm talking about your income here. I'm talking about your income from that business. So if you make $100,000 a year, $150,000 a year at a job, kill me. That counts as 0 to me. I'm talking about your income in your own business. So going from 0, meaning you have no business, start your business, 0 to 5 figures a year, to 6 figures a year, to 7 figures a year. Okay. I'm going to give you a correlate. Speaking of fasting, and this has to do with our financial topic. I'm using an example because we're dealing with your emotions. I am about 4 or 5 days away from being the lowest weight body weight I've ever been in my entire adult life. By Monday, I will probably hit this number, and I'll get more in detail, but I'll do a live stream over at my other channel in a few weeks about fasting, what I'm doing, and give you more specific numbers and data. And which means I am now starting to see, when I weigh out myself on the scale every morning, including this morning, I'm starting to see numbers I've never seen before. And to put this in context, my adult life is 35 years. I'm not 35 years old. I'm 53 years old. I have been an adult for 35 years. When I went to high school, I was class of 1990. Yeah. So I've been an adult, a non-teenager, for 35 years. I've been an adult for longer than many of you have been alive. That's how old Big Daddy Caleb is. So when I say I've never weighed this stuff in 35 years, it's kind of a significant thing. And I weighed less in high school. At about 4 more weeks, I will be at my high school weight. And then 2 weeks beyond that, I'll be below my high school weight. Anyway, point is that when I look at myself on the scale, and I see these numbers I've never seen since the fucking 80s. As a matter of fact, I was thinking about this morning. The last time I weighed myself when I was in high school in the 80s, it was not an electronic digital scale. We didn't have digital scales in the 80s. They didn't have those. It was one of those old school scales where there's a needle and there's a little circle, and you step on the scale and it goes, and it goes, you sit there, wait, and then it stops, and you look at where the little red line is, and that's how much you weigh, kind of. They weren't super accurate. And so that's the last time I weighed myself when I was in high school, because this was like 1988. So when I see these numbers on the scale, there is a conflicting emotional response. Half of my response, maybe more than half, 60, 70%, 50% is, oh my God, this is awesome. I'm going to look so hot. This is great. Oh my God, thank God I can get back to my normal body and be able to self-actualize. This is so awesome. This is so great. Oh my God, this is great. Okay. But there's another thought that goes, well, this is weird. What do I do? I'm not comfortable with this. Part of your old self, killing your old self, which we'll talk about on my other channel. Okay. So that's a little bit of my old self going, what? But we weigh this, but what do I do? What does this mean? What do I do? Does that mean I'm going to go back up tomorrow? What does this mean? And so my brain is pretty prepared, but not 100% prepared for this new set of numbers in my life. In this particular case, how much I weigh. Okay, now it's fine. I've been doing so much work in my subconscious, it's not going to be a deal breaker for me, but I can feel the emotional response. And this exact same thought or conflicting thoughts happened when I broke certain income levels. So the first time I made $800,000 a year, okay, I had this same thought. I went, oh my God, I'm rich. Holy fuck. Oh, this is so great. I'm going to have limos, and didn't think that, but it's fears. This is many years ago now. But the first time that happened, but I also just thought, what do I do? I make $800,000 a year now. Well, what does this mean? Well, does this mean like next year I'm going to drop back down to 400,000? Is this a fluke? Or like, am I going to keep growing? So next year I'm going to make 1.8 million, and the year I'll make 3 million. And what do I do? What do I do with this money? How do I plan the next year? Because my psychology was not prepared for those numbers. Now it is now, but back then it wasn't. And I've coached with guys. Some of you. I just talked to someone, let's see, not last month, the month before that. One-on-one coaching, which I don't do much of anymore because I'm expensive. But he's like, Caleb, I have one. This is not the first conversation I've had with people like this, guys like this. And I've been in this scenario or similar scenarios. Caleb, oh my God, I have $1.4 million in my checking account for the first time in my life. I don't know what the fuck to do with this money. What do I do with this? Am I going to have to pay taxes on this? Yes, you're an American living in America. Oh, fuck. And so this is what happens when you get into these new income numbers. Your brain's not prepared. And more importantly, the reason you're not at these numbers is because of your brain. And it's not just these scenarios. I mean, I've had this scenario where I had the same thought years ago when I got my first check in my consulting practice from one client, one check for more than $100,000, one check for a consulting contract. It was $112,000. I remember I got this check. They printed it off the printer, and the owner of the company signed the check, and I took it home, and I'm like, oh, and I'm holding this check for 100, and I'm like, oh, and I was excited. This is awesome. This is cool. I'm so rich. Oh my God. I took a picture of it with my cameras before phones. And, and then I would deposit it and be all nervous. What if the check doesn't go through? And, and I was excited, but also uncomfortable, or at least confused. What, one check with, I had the same thought several years ago when I made $250,000 in 1 week. I made $242,000 online in 1 week. Net. That's net in my pocket. That's after expenses. And I was very happy and excited that week, but I was also like, whoa, okay, so is this going to happen every week? Can I do this once a month? Does that mean at some point I'll make $1 million a week? Wow, I did that. So there's an emotional component to this that we don't often talk about. And the number one reason why you don't yet have these things, now some of you do have these things. Some of you already make 7 figures. Some of you already make 6 figures in your own business. Some of you have your own business and you're well on your way to making 6 figures. Okay, a lot of you business builder guys. But the majority of you, I would guess, do not have a business yet and or don't make the money you want to make. Well, the reason for that is not that you don't know how to do it, because the how-to stuff is available online, right? The reason is your brain isn't ready. Okay. So if you look at anybody online who makes a lot of money, if you look at Alex Hormozi or Gary Vee or even me, or even people who make less money than me, okay, and your first thought is, well, I could never fucking do that. That's why you don't have that money, you idiot. That's exactly why. Your brain is lying to you and saying you can't do it. Yes, you can. The reason I know you can is because your brain is lying to you. The reason I know your brain is lying to you for 2 reasons. Your brain says, well, I could never make 100,000 a year. When I used to talk about, I still talk about this, the Unchained CEO minimum income and Alpha 2.0 minimum income of $85,000 a year, USD, pre-tax net profit. Okay. That's $7,000 a month. A lot of guys hear that go, okay, yeah, I can do that. A lot of guys hear that go, only $7,000. I want to make way more than that. But a lot of guys go, $7,000 a month. I could never do that. And now you're fucked. Your brain's lying to you. Yes, you can. The reason you're saying that is 2 reasons. One, your self-esteem is fucked from what happened in your childhood, your adolescence, when you were in your 20s, the things your single mom used to scream at you, the girl in high school you wanted to hook up with who never worked out, the failures you had, embarrassments you had in your early 20s. So now you're a grown man thinking you're a big pussy when you're actually not. Your brain's lying to you. That's reason number 1. Reason number 2, I've addressed this many times, is fucking Instagram and things like Instagram. So on top of having a shitty self-esteem, I could never make $7,000 a month. I'm a dumbass. Why would anyone hire me? The second reason you think that is because you're spending your time on your goddamn phone doing this, looking at guys like Dan Bilzerian and Andrew Tate with their 6-packs and their yachts and their Bugattis. And you're like, well, I could never fucking do that. I guess I'll never get laid, never make any money because I can't be like that. Get the fuck off Instagram. A lot of you need to get off Instagram for about 30 days at least. I can tell from the comments and questions you give me. You're too much Instagram or too much TikTok or whatever the fuck you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. So for those 2 reasons, now you have a brain that says 7 figures. Oh, that's ridiculous. I can never. And the extreme case of that is everyone who says they make 7 figures online is all lying. They're all liars. Alex Hormozi is a liar. Gary Vee's a liar. Caleb Jones is a liar. No one makes 7 figures. That's ridiculous. That's an extreme fucked up version of this. Again, your brain's lying to you. So you have the ability, actually, you think you don't, to make $7,000 a month, which is your minimum income. If you read my book, Freedom Fortress, go read it, www.caleb.top/freedom. I talk about bigger income numbers you need. I give you an entire formula to really protect yourself and your family from A, the collapse of the West, and B, the possible AI takeover, which is happening right now. A, you can make $7,000 a month, which is $85,000 a year. You can make 6 figures, which is $100,000 a year US. By the way, this is much easier now because of inflation. Because Americans have been stupidly voting for the lesser of 2 evils for 35 years consistently in every presidential election, they have destroyed their own currency. So now the American dollar is worth a lot less than it used to be. $100,000 ain't shit. It's not. It ain't shit. When I made, I've talked about this. One of the reasons I was so emotionally freaked out the first time I made whatever that was, 800,000, is because My biggest financial goal through most of my adult life was $20,000 a month. That was my big financial goal I had for years. I went, man, if I made $20,000 a month, this is before I wanted to be 100% location dependent. This is way back. 100,000, because this is back when I had made like 150,000, 120,000. $20,000 a month. $20,000 a month. Man, I'll be so fucking rich. $20,000 a month, bro. And that was my big goal for a long time. $20,000 a month ain't shit. I'm sorry, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. $20,000 a month ain't shit. Trust me, that's pussy money, in my opinion. It's not required, but 20,000 ain't shit. Trust me. And so anyway, so 20,000 a month is what? 240,000 a year, right? So about $250,000 a year. So that's a good life. You make, 20,000 a month, you're doing okay. Not doing great, but you're doing okay. So I had this number in my head, 20,000 a month, $250,000 a year. And now suddenly I'm making 3x that. I'm like, ooh, and my brain was like, because it was even beyond my financial objectives, which is my experience in my financial life. I am now operating at levels beyond goals I ever set for myself. I have one last goal I'm working on now. It's a complicated goal, lots of numbers. I'm going to hit that next April. God damn it, I will. Corollary of my woman life, same thing. I had some goals in my woman life and I vastly exceeded them. I went, whoa. That's the worst case scenario, is that you actually achieve these goals and you're kind of uncomfortable once you hit them. Or at least your body is confused, like me and when I step on the scale every morning the last few days. I'm like, whoa, I weigh this? I never weighed this. Except when I was in high school. That doesn't count. What is more likely to occur is you'll never hit these numbers. You'll say, well, I can never do that. And then your brain says, yeah, you can't. You're a big pussy. Because your single mom said when you were 6, this. Right? And your dad said that. And on TV, you saw this. And you got abused when you were a kid. And bullies bullied you in high school. And all this irrelevant bullshit that you now have rummaging around your head. And I'm not a psychologist, but your fucking self-esteem is in the toilet because of this completely irrelevant BS that happened 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And you're fucking scrolling on social media looking at guys like Andrew Tate saying, well, I could never do that. You don't need to have a fucking yacht to live a good life. I don't have a yacht. I don't even own a car. I'm wearing the same shirt I wore yesterday. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I have like 4 shirts in my closet. I just coached with someone a minute ago, a little right before this. He said, you're wearing shirts now. I'm like, yeah, I got like two or three. I got, 4 shirts here in Paraguay, 4 hang-up shirts, and I almost never wear, and I have t-shirts. So be aware of that. Number 1, top of the list for earning high income and getting to these income levels is not logistical. It's all in your goddamn brain. And the best book, there are many books to help you with this. A lot of you guys ask me book recommendations on things like this. The best book on the mental state of your finances is The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. I don't know how to spell that, but you could Google it. Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. There are other books too. My favorite of all time is The Psychology of Achievement by Brian Tracy, one of my big mentors, written back in the 90s. Fantastic. Obviously, you have Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich is okay. It's good. It's not great, but it's good. But Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, I believe that's the book by T. Harv Eker. Strongly recommend that. If you have these, I could never make this kind of money. If you have that kind of attitude, that book will help you. And you have to do, like with my material, you don't just read the book or listen to the audiobook, go, that was cool, and not do anything. You fucking do the exercises and go through it. Fair warning, if you listen to the audiobook, it's spoken by the author, and he's got a very unique presentation style. He sounds like you're listening to someone from The Godfather. Hey, how you doing? It's D.R. Becker. Okay, we're going to learn making money. I'm exaggerating slightly, but that's how he talks. He has a higher voice, though. So just be aware. But the content's fantastic. So anyway, I recommend that book if that's an issue you have. Okay? All right. What else do I say about that? There's more I want to say about that. Why am I forgetting? I don't have notes today. You can tell. Shit. There's something else I want to say about the mental aspect of this. All the techniques I teach over at Alpha 2.0, and I'll talk about some here. Vision, mission, societally independent long-term goals. If you're a man, go buy my book, The Unchained Man, at alphamalebook.com. All of those will help prep your mind to be accepting of these higher income levels that you currently don't have. I've been doing this stuff my whole life. There's a reason I started from zero. And I've said this 10,000 times. When I was 18 years old, I started out just like you. I started out worse than most of you. I had no high school diploma. I didn't graduate high school. I didn't drop out. I didn't graduate. I had no college degree. I ain't got one of them things like Dan Kennedy used to say. I was 18 years old, moved out when I was 18, had no money, could not pay my bills, could not afford to put gas in my car. My parents were poor when I was younger. By the time I was in my 20s, they had in late teens, they started having some money. But when I was young, we had no money. And my parents had some money. We had a nice house. By the time I moved out when I was 18, they lived in a pretty nice house. But my parents had 5 kids and tons of debt, and they couldn't afford anything. So I had no money. And I started out fucking poor. I've told this story 10,000 times. I'll just really quickly. I still remember doing this. This was 35 years ago. I remember me standing at the shopping center, the grocery store, standing at the grocery store. And it's called Zupan's in Portland, Oregon. And having my bagel dogs, frozen bagel dogs, and some cream cheese and something else, like 3 items, and handing them my student $300 limit credit card because I had no money in my checking account. I had no money. And I handed it to them. Back then, you didn't run it yourself. You had to hand it to the person. The person ran it back in 1991 or whatever this was. And just crossing my fingers, hoping that the card would go through so I could eat dinner that night. Because if the card didn't go through, I had no food at home. I had mustard. I would literally not be able to eat. And it would go through. I'm like, oh my God, okay, God, I can eat. I can eat for 2 more days. Thank God. That's how poor I was, briefly. So I got started the same place you did, or probably lower than many of you, lower than most of you. Okay. So the reason I did this is because I had to prep my brain. I had affirmations when I was in my 20s. I had affirmations on my bathroom mirror, and my big goal back then was to make $100,000 a year. That was a lot more money back in the 90s. I am 28 years old. I make $100,000 a year. I have a hot blonde wife. I have 2 small children. I had all that by the time I was 27. The 2 kids, the hot blonde wife, I had all that. Okay. But I was constantly working my brain. So you can't just say, I want to start a business. I want to make 6 figures, or I want to be free or whatever, and just proceed to do it. You need your brain on your side. Affirmations, visualization, setting goals, vision, mission, all the other stuff I talk about will all help with that. Okay. But it's not going to work if you don't do it. And the best case scenario, not the worst case, the best case scenario is what you'll do what I did. You will exceed your goals and you'll be a little uncomfortable, or if things will feel weird. When I step on the scale, I don't feel uncomfortable. That's not the word. I like it. I'm happy. It's not a negative feeling, but it's also like, well, this is weird. What the fuck? It's like that. Like, what do I do? Half your brain doesn't understand because it sees numbers. When you see numbers in your checking account you've never seen before, I've had this experience several times. When you want a profit and loss statement in your business, and if you see numbers you've never seen, when you do your W-2, and you find out you see numbers these giant numbers you've never seen before. It's because it's the same symptom. It's just a lighter version of that. Make sense? Okay. So I'm going to summarize the scale now. 0, 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures. First, let me discuss this. The vast majority of you don't want to earn 7 figures, nor should you. I've talked this many times. Yeah, let me clarify this really quick. Earning 7 figures is radically different than earning 6 figures. It's not even close. It's an entirely different thing. I made that transition from 6 to 7. It's an entirely different mindset. It's an entirely different work ethic. You can kind of take it easy and make 100,000. I did for years. A lot of people do. So but you make 7, you got to blow your brains out and sacrifice. I've addressed that in great detail in other live streams, other podcasts. Feel free to watch those. So I would imagine the majority of you listening to the sound of my voice don't need to make $1 million a year or more. Okay, you don't need to. You don't want to. So when I say 7 figures, you can just tune out for that little part. Get to where you want to get to. Now, there's a strong percentage of you, and I know from the survey I did a few weeks ago, who do want to make 7 figures. Awesome. Okay, awesome. You better get ready to get to work and sacrifice and feel pain. I talked about pain last year over at Alpha 2.0, the 4 kinds of pain. I've been the last 2 years in particular, my life, I've been feeling a lot of pain. Including right now, I'm hungry. Physical pain and then psychic pain, mental pain when you're going through things in your business you've never done before and it's frustrating. Okay. So be aware of that. Set your own goals. The Unchained Man, I talk about how to set your own goals. Do that. Design the life you want, not the life I want, as long as you're, follow the Unchained CEO models and if you're Alpha 2.0 models. So decide how much you want to make, but I would imagine that number is probably more than you want to make right now. Right? So whatever that number is. So if it's not 7 figures, I don't need to win 7. Great, no. You might need to make 6. You might need to make 150,000 a year, 200,000 a year, 500,000 a year, or 85,000. So you need to determine that on your own. Top of your time. Okay. So when I say 7 figures, if that's not on your agenda, that's okay. Get to where you need to get to. All of you, here's what you all fucking need to do. Set up your location independent business and get that thing to at least several $1,000s a month so you can quit your goddamn 9-to-5 job. You are in such big trouble if you have a 9-to-5 job right now, or if you do gigs and you don't have a location independent business. Do you know how much trouble you're in if you live in the collapsing Western world on top of the AI shit? You have no idea. And I've said this, I'm happy to say this again. If I woke up in your life, if I right now in May of 2025 was still living in a Western country, United States, Canada, Europe, whatever, okay, Australia, and I was still living in a country like this, god damn. Ugh. And I had no location independent business, I would be screaming in terror every morning when I woke up. I would. That's not an exaggeration. I'd be like, oh my fucking God. And I'd be running around like a maniac to fix it. I wouldn't say, well, what if I go back to school to get a better job, Caleb? No. Or, I'm a bookkeeper, but I said that, or I'm an attorney and they said AI doesn't threaten us yet. No, that wouldn't be me. No, I know what's coming. I've been very good at my predictions over the past 20 years, haven't I? I know what's coming. I don't know exactly when, I know what. Mm-hmm. So that's what you do need to do. Start your own business. We have plenty of resources, 90-day business builder, and all that other stuff. Okay. And get your income to at least several $1,000s a month so you can quit your job. Okay. So that is a mandatory requirement. Okay. So here are the levels. So level 1 is what Peter Thiel would call 0 to 1. So you got to start your business. You haven't started your business. You're making 0. How do you get from 0 to 5, let's say 5 figures a year? Okay. Which is not that hard. What that really means is, and we talk about it in the 90-day business builder all the time, getting your first 1 to 3 clients. Your first 1 to 3 clients, you're making several $1,000s and doing that within 90 days. That's the objective. Okay. So that's number 1. And that's basic business builder stuff I've talked about 10,000 times. You need to find a niche. You need to identify what that niche's biggest problem is. You do a coaching or consulting or service-based business, ideally not coaching, but that will work. In business builder, we don't do B2C anymore, but here you can if you really want to. Coaching, consulting, or a service. Coaching means you're helping people one-on-one solve a particular problem, their biggest problem in the niche. Consulting is you're helping a corporation or an entity do this, or an association, an entity to solve the problem. And service means you're going to actually solve the problem for them or alleviate the problem for them. Okay, one of those 3 things, because those are high margin, you can make money very quickly in those things. Unlike someone's asked about drop shipping and shit like that, that's going to take longer. Okay, or like writing an ebook, or these are all good things. That's your second business, third business, not your first business. Getting that done, getting your first 1 to 3 clients, and getting that first chunk. So let's call that level 1. Getting your first 1 to 3 clients, several $1,000s. So then you have what's called proof of concept. Okay, you don't have product market fit. You have proof of concept. You've made several $1,000s. You got 2 or 3 clients. Great. Then what you do, that's level 1. Level 2 is to take that and scale that into real 5 figures or beyond. So let's call it real 5 figures. So let's call that level 2. Level 2 is marketing and iteration. So when you get your first 1 to 3 clients, at the end of the 3rd client, you're going to have a much better idea of what your clients want, what they don't want. So then you iterate the thing that you're selling to solve the biggest problem of that niche to the narrow niche. Cybersecurity is not a niche, that's an industry. Okay. So you iterate. So after your 3rd client or so, you say, okay, I've serviced 3 customers, 3-ish. All 3 really wanted this stuff. So I'm going to double down on this. I offered this. They didn't really care about this. So I'm just going to delete this. They complained about this. So I'm going to fix this. They really liked this. And they asked me if I did this. So I'm going to add this. And you iterate. You make a new version of your offering. And then you really market that. You go all in on marketing, either paid ads or free by things like DMs, cold calls, things like that, joint ventures, things I've talked about in other podcasts and things like that. Okay. And then you get your client number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 4 to 20, depending on what you're selling. So that's level 2, and that'll get you into the 5 figures. Now, in most cases, you can quit your goddamn job. Some of you guys can quit your job with 2 or 3 clients, and some of you have. I know some of you. Hang on. But definitely at level 2, when you're making 5 figures, location dependent, you can tell your boss to go fuck himself, which you should. And I did an entire podcast where I went through my entire last day as an employee at Nike corporate headquarters in October of 1996. I remember that day. I go through the feelings I had. That was, it was so nice. It's great. It's almost like having sex. Almost. So then you don't have a job ever again. And now you're location dependent. And then you can come here to Paraguay or Dubai or Philippines or Mexico or Armenia or 27 other countries that would make good living flags for you. And as I've said 10,000 times, I like Dubai and Paraguay. Those are my 2 homes. But if you don't like those, pick another one. You got at least another 25 countries that are far less bad than the collapsing West. So now you can be location dependent and be internationalized. And now on your 5 figures, instead of paying 40% fucking taxes to America, Canada, Europe, Australia, you come to Paraguay, you pay 0, or maybe you pay 3% or 2%. If you make under 100,000, you can get to 0. Make over 100,000, then if you're an American, then you'll pay a little. I pay a little. Okay? If you're a European, you get to 0. So now you were making 60, 70, 80,000 a year, paying fucking 50%, 40% taxes grand total when you add it all up. Go to my blogs, I have the formulas. Now you're making 50, 60, 70,000, you're paying 0 taxes. And if you're really smart, you're in a place like here, like Paraguay, which is 1/8 the cost of the United States or Canada or Europe. So you make 50,000 a year, 50,000 USD here in Paraguay, you're a king. You're an emperor here. You're an emperor here. I just talked about this 2 weeks ago. The woman who comes and cleans my apartment, she just came again. Clean the entire apartment, 3-4 hours, $7. Yeah. Okay. So now you can take advantage of this at the level 2, which is 5 figures. And as I've talked about 10,000 times, your goal is $7,000 a month, which is $85,000 a year. And to be very clear about this, that is, as I said earlier, that is net income from your business after all expenses, but before you pay taxes. $85,000 a year. Why is that? If you know my content, I've already talked about this. They've done numerous happiness studies. People who make less than $85,000 a year will be happier if you make at least $85,000. That's where your happiness peaks for most people. So if you say people say money doesn't make people happy, factually, objectively incorrect. Yes, it does. 85,000. You need to make $1 million a year to be happy? No, you don't. At 85,000, you do. And then at 85,000, you can make that decision unless you've already made the decision to make more. Now, some of you, again, if I say 85,000, some of you go, wow, that'd be pretty awesome at 85,000 a year. Look at great. That's all you need. Some of you go, 85 grand, that's it? Well, fuck that. I want to make the big cash. Great. So then we move into level 3. So level 3 is going from 5 figures to 6 figures. So you cross the 100,000 threshold. And as I've talked about on prior podcasts, $100,000 a year is not the mental threshold. In my view, and a lot of people agree with me on this, and a lot of guys have been through this, including myself, it's not 100,000 a year, it's 10,000 a month. There's something magical about 10,000 a month that clicks over. So in my view, if you want to get to 6 figures, the number should not be 100,000. It should be 120,000 because that's 10,000 a month. And as I've talked about in prior podcasts, when you click over to $10,000 a month pre-tax, but it's net income, something in your subconscious goes, hey, I'm good at this. I know how to make fucking money. I'm awesome at this. Whereas before that, you're like, I'm okay, right? So if your goal is 6 figures, my strong recommendation for you is the goal is beyond 120,000. Now you set your own goal. If it's 200,000, 300,000, 700,000, you decide that based on your goals, your objectives, your personality, country where you live. Are you going to have a wife and kids? Those cost money. Even if you follow my models, all that shit. Buy the Freedom Fortress book. There's exact formulas how to figure all that out. Okay. How do you do this? So getting 5 figures was acquiring a few clients. That's really about it. Getting 6 figures is multiple streams of income. So what you do to get from 5 to 6 is that you sell lots of different things to your niche or let's say, is it or? No, yeah, and or starting a second business. The Alpha 2 business model I've talked about always since 2014 is 2 to 4 small companies in different niches that have nothing to do with each other. Because if one goes out of business or gets taken over by AI or is made illegal, you got your other business and you're okay. At my height, I don't have this anymore, but at my height of income streams, I had 17 different income streams. And if you bought some of my courses, business courses, I actually mapped out on a flow chart all of my income streams. I drew them all out. So the reason I did that is I wanted to get 6 figures. And you'll get to 6 figures a lot faster if you're selling multiple things at multiple price points to your niche instead of one thing. But Caleb, Alex Hormozi said, you should only sell one thing. We'll get to that in a minute. That's 7-figure and 8-figure. Like we're going about 5 to 6 figures. I'm telling you, you will get there a lot faster if you sell lots of different things. Now, how do you do that? You listen to your clients, your existing customers. And if you're starting a social media presence, which you should, a personal brand, you're going to need that with AI taking over. You're going to need that shit. I already talked about this. You can ask your audience. Your audience, if you have one, you'll have a small one. And your current client base. What else do you want? What are other problems I can help you with in this area? And then you shut up and you listen. Why did I do that big survey a few weeks ago with you guys? I want you to tell me what your problems are. Why? So I can sell you more shit, so I can make more money, and I can solve more of your problems. That's why. I've always been honest about this. I'm a capitalist. I'm here to make money. The only reason I'm doing this YouTube video / podcast is to make money. I'm not doing this for fun. It is fun, but that's not why I'm doing it. There's other fun things I could do that are more fun that won't make any money. I'd rather do those. Okay. See my point? So I'm here to make money. This is a business thing I'm doing. I'm not doing it. I want to be a YouTuber because it's fun. No, I'm here to make money. So you need to add other offerings to your business. So you start with consulting, coaching, or a service. Then you branch out to other services, other types of consulting, other types of coaching, ebooks, online courses, coaching programs. Like the 90 Biz Builder is a coaching program. It's not coach, not one-on-one coaching. It's a coaching program. It's not a course. Course is a video course. Coaching programs. If you want to, if you can be careful and try this, membership services, your own membership, like the Unchained action table we'll talk about in a few minutes, or the old SMIC program I used to have. Think like various things. Membership-only websites, membership-only Facebook pages, whatever, depending on what your niche wants. Not what you want. No one gives a fuck what you want. What your niche wants. You listen. I started a business teaching dating skills for men way back in 2009 online. And I got from 0 to 6 figures really quick. And the reason I did that is because I was constantly listening to what people were saying on my blogs and on the forums and in my email. It'd be really cool if you had this. Or I'm dating this girl and I have this problem. I went, aha, I'll write a book about that. I wrote an entire book called The Ultimate Younger Woman Manual. How older men can date much younger women, because that's what I was doing at the time. And the only reason I wrote that book is so many guys asked about that. How do I do that? That's awesome. Aha, I'll write a book and I'll have a course. There was a whole product line for me. Made a lot of money from that by listening to my audience, listening to my customers. And so you're going to add many other income streams on your existing business to go from 5 to 6 figures. Okay. And optionally, if you have the time and energy, if you follow my Alpha Male 2.0 stuff, you will. If you don't, then you might or might not. You can start a second business. You can put this in what I call maintenance mode, and you can start your second company in a completely different niche that has nothing to do with the first one. Very important. Or else, what are you doing? If it's not, then it's basically an income stream under existing business, not a new business, even though it may feel like one. Okay. Put this on maintenance mode and you build your second business. And the beauty of that is your second business, you make a lot more money a lot more quickly, because now you know what you're doing. You've done it before. Your first business is hard. Never done it before. Second business, easy. Third business, it's like printing money. This business, Unchained CEO, is my 6th or 7th business? I forget now. Easy for me because I've done this so many times. So your second business is easy. You don't have to start a second business. That's optional, but that's an option. To get more income streams, this business is spinning around making money. You start another business. Now that business is making money. You go back and scale this business. Then you scale this. Then you have 2 scaled businesses. Awesome. And now you're well into 6 figures. Also in 6 figures, you can just start outsourcing and delegating. So when you're making 85,000, 90,000, 100,000, 120, so let's say between 80 and 120,000, maybe a little more than that, you can do pretty much everything on your own. You might need a little help from tech people that you hire on Upwork, maybe. You can do pretty much everything on it. You can respond to your own email and do all your own customer service and all your own implementation and all your own marketing and run your own ads. You can do all that shit if you want and do your own YouTube videos and do everything yourself. kill me, but you can. And I know guys who do this who have low six-figure companies and they don't have a team. It's all on their own, solopreneurs. Now, the problem is that word's gotten corrupted because there's people who call themselves solopreneurs and they're not. They have a huge team. They don't have employees. They're following the Alpha 2.0 model. They have no employee, but they have a team. Okay. So I'm trying a true solopreneur. It's just you doing 90, 95% of the work every week. Okay. That's fine. You want to get past about 120, which I think you should, if that's your objective, you need to start delegating. The first person you hire, there's a whole list, but first you need to offset your technical stuff and your bookkeeping. So you need to hire a bookkeeper, handle your books, accountant, handle your taxes, tech guy, tech nerd to handle your blog and your social media and all that crap so you don't have to do it, even if you know how to do it. I have a tech background. I could do all this tech stuff or most of it if I wanted to. I don't want to. I want to make money. Tech work doesn't make money. Okay. That's the first things that's set you outsource, you delegate. Okay. The next thing you delegate is a personal assistant or an operations manager depending inside your company who just manages all these admin type tasks so you can go make the money. I've got an admin manager. His name's Osher. He's fantastic. Some of you talk to him. So he runs my business. I don't run the company. He does. I go sell the company and grow it. I can't grow the company and maintain it at the same time, especially when I get to 7 figures. We'll talk about in a second. Okay. So you're going to start delegating more and more. I wrote an article on my blogs 10, 15 years ago when I delegated my email. Terrifying. I can't have someone check my email. What if this? And what if that? What if this? If you don't want to ever make if you don't want to ever make more than about 150,000 a year, you don't have to. You want to make more 150,000 a year? Guess what, bro? You're going to delegate everything. But then they'll have all my passwords. I can't give someone my Facebook password. What if this? And what if that? What if this? If you want to make less than 150, you don't have to. If you want to make more than 150, suck it up, buttercup. Get some balls. Take your balls out of your wife's purse, your girlfriend's purse, and slap them back on and be a man and delegate. If they fuck it up, they fuck it up and you fix it. If you want to make more than about 150,000 a year. If you don't, then do it all yourself. And you'll be working longer hours the rest of your life. But if you don't care, some guys don't care. That's fine. That's all right. No big deal. So that's a required component of real six-figure income. Post 120 is you have a team. Not a big team. You get away with 3 or 4 people and make, $250,000 a year, 200,000 a year, 500K a year. No problem. 3 or 4 or 5 people. Sure. Maybe a little more, depending on what you're doing, depending on your income stream, depending on what you're offering. So that's 6 figures. 6 figures is, between 120 and 800K-ish or so. Let's call that 6 figures. You've got a team, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people, maybe more. You're delegating all of your bullshit SW work, your buffer work. You're focused on what really makes a difference, which is things like content, sales, client implementation, developing new products, services, listening to your audience, the stuff that actually moves the needle and grows the business. That's your focus. And you've got many income streams. You've got a large product line. If you go to store.calebjones.com, there's a ton of shit there. I've got 12 mini courses, 7 or 8 full-on video courses, 3 or 4 coaching programs. I've written 9 books. There's a bunch of other stuff I used to do that I canceled. I have a huge line of products. Why did I do that? I wanted to make a strong 6-figure income, and it worked. Okay, so that's 6 figures. So now we're going into 7 figures. Those of you who want to do that. Again, my disclaimer, making 7 figures is very different than making 6. It's a whole different level of pain and suffering and commitment and sacrifice, which most men, especially men today, aren't willing to do. Most guys, and I've seen this happen, they get to 100,000 a year, location dependent, working, 30 hours a week, like I talk about, maybe 200,000. They go, I'm good. I'm good. I'm going to go to the beach now. Great. If that's your objective, that's fine. They don't want to work harder. It's very hard. And I made this decision to go from, low to mid 6 figures, say, all right, I'm going to go to fucking 7 figures or 8 figures or beyond. That's a very difficult decision because life's good at 6 figures. When you have no debt, you're location dependent, and you're paying 5% in taxes or less, yeah, and your personal life's handled because you're doing Alpha 2.0, you men, yeah, it's good. It's a good life. You don't why do I got to bust my ass? So only certain percentage you will decide to do this, and that's fine. Then, oh boy. So you know what? Before I get that, how are we doing on time? All right, hang on. Quick little announcement. 1 second. I'm only going to spend a quick minute on this because I already announced this at my other channel the other day. So hang on a second. Hang on. Really quick. Many years ago, I had a membership program called the SMIC program where I coached people on their business life, their 5 flags, their investments, time management. We did talk about woman stuff there, so I'm not going to talk about it here on this channel, but we did discuss that as well. And I canceled it many years ago, but since then, numerous people have begged me to bring something like that back. So what I have done is I sat down and I crunched the numbers on a way I can help you, me personally, helping you live on a video call individually, where it's cheap enough where you could afford it. It's not thousands of dollars, but it's financially viable enough for me to do it. And it took me a long time. I finally figured out, I think, how to do this. And one aspect of this is it's a new program I'm now offering right now until Sunday night. And in order to make it feasible for me, I need at least 30 people signing up for this program by Sunday night, midnight PST. If we don't get at least 30 signups by Sunday night, anyone who buys it between now and then, I will refund your money, and then I will never do this again. Literally, I'll never try to say anything like this, especially going into the next phase of my life next year, because it involves my personal time coaching people. I'm only going to do it if it makes 100% sense for you and for me, or else I'm not going to do it. So this is the last opportunity. So here's what you get if you sign up for this. It's called the Unchained Action Table, like round table. There will be a Zoom call with me every other week. Every person on the call gets a guaranteed minimum 5 minutes with me one-on-one called a hot seat. It's a group setting, but I'm going to focus on you. You can ask me any questions you want. And I charge thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars for coaching, as many of you are aware. If you get at least 5 minutes from me, I'll probably give you more, but at least 5. If you just want to hang out in the call and join us and soak it all in, you can do that as well. You don't have to ask questions. If you miss any sessions, you'll get recordings of all the sessions. In addition, every week, you will be able to, a few hours a week via Telegram, ask me any questions you want. There are limits to the number of questions you can ask. You can't pelt me with questions for hours and hours on end. I have other things to do, but I am available for more questions once a week on top of the Zoom sessions. Then for the first 4 weeks, you get some onboarding trainings that I've already set up. And then once a month, I'm going to do a video on what's working now in my life. I'm going to give you exact business numbers, details from my personal life, things I do not talk about publicly. There's a lot of things I can't talk about publicly because they're too R-rated or they're private or my attorneys won't let me. I can talk about all this stuff in this program. I will give you everything. And if you've been part of my past programs, you know how detailed I get. And you have access to one-on-one coaching with me if you would like for an extra fee. It's very expensive. I do not offer this to the public, but I will offer it to you in this program. Okay. If you sign up before Sunday night and we continue past Sunday night, which is a big if, I will also give you as a founding member the 5.5-hour Freedom Fortress training I did a few weeks ago. I'm going to give you that for free. I was going to charge $500 for that, give you that for free. I'm also going to give you for free the entire 3.5-hour recording of the 3-hour focus formula training I did on how to focus and work and not have shiny object syndrome. I'm going to give you that for free. I was going to charge $400 for that. I'm going to give it to you for free. The next paid online training I'm going to do shortly, can't say what it is, but I'm going to do it shortly. That will also be free. Everyone else that paid for it, you get it for free. Also, you will lock in your monthly rates, a monthly program. I will never raise the rate on you if you sign up before Sunday. If you sign up after Sunday, I'm going to raise the rate at some point, definitely. If it involves my time, I'm going to raise the rate. I will never raise it for you. You will also have the opportunity to help shape the group with me if you're a lifetime founding member. Cool? I would normally charge about $1,300 for this. You get all this for free if you sign up by Sunday night and we get at least 30 signups by Sunday night. I will never offer these bonuses ever again. Even if we do continue with this program, these bonuses are gone as of Sunday night. It's too many. This logo is wrong. It should be table, not circle. That's my mistake. I normally charge thousands of dollars when I give individualized coaching. The cheapest I've ever done this for is about $3,500, which is the Apex program. It's $297 a month. That's it. And if you focus on business stuff, it's tax deductible. You can cancel whenever you want. The deadline is Sunday night, May 25th, 11:59 p.m. PST. If we do not get 30 signups by Sunday night, everyone gets a refund who signed up, and I am never offering this ever again. I'm done. This is your last fucking chance, and I mean it. I am not offering this. I just talked to my team this morning about this. I said, guys, this is not a sales thing. I don't lie. I am never trying this again, especially going into my next phase of life in next April. No. No, no, no. I'm not doing any personalized coaching stuff unless it makes 100% sense for me and you, not just you. So it's up to you now. If you want this, sign up. If you don't want it, great. But then you've told me you don't want it, and I'm not going to offer it again. On top of that, I cannot have hundreds of people in this program. I'd be spending 20 hours a week coaching people. I don't have that kind of time. So there's a hard cap on 65 people in this program. So if we get past 30, but if we sign up, 85 people or something by Sunday night, I'm going to have to tell 20 people, sorry, can't help you. Sorry, you can't join the program. Sorry. So if you want in on this, there's a minimum and a maximum. Caleb, www.caleb.top/UAT, Unchained Action Table, UAT. If you want in on this, time to sign up right now. Don't wait. Sunday night's your deadline. And we'll find out if we do this or not. So I've done my part. I've given you the best offer I can give you. Literally. I've done my part. The rest is up to you. If you want to do this, wonderful. I will work with you. And I'll do this long-term, even past next April. I will do this because you've proven to me you want it. If we don't get 30 signups, you've told me very clearly you don't want to do this, because sometimes you guys tell me, I want to do this, and then you don't do it. And sometimes you do. We'll find out. I'm just going to wait now till Monday. Something else I told my team, I say, hey, I'm just going to sit back, wait till Monday morning and see what happens. And the audience will have spoken democratically. Okay? All right. Okay. Back to 7 figures. I'll leave this on the screen. Let me change the screen setup here, make myself a little bigger. There we go. Really quick. 7 figures. Going from 6 figures to 7 figures, you need to make some, first, like I talked about at the beginning of this presentation, radical shifts in mindset. You're going to make $1 million a year. Your brain's not ready for that. You need to really start prepping your brain. I make $2 million a year. I make $2.5 million. I make $6 million a year, whatever that is. Visualizations, affirmations. You got to prime the shit out of this because you have no context for this. You don't. And you're going to need to really prep your brain. People can comprehend making 100,000, 200,000. Most people can, especially again with inflation. When you say 7 figures, people just, whoa, it just goes in one ear and out the other. And that might even be you. So you got to completely prep yourself. Number one. Number two, as I said earlier, you need to be prepared to sacrifice huge swaths of your life, parts of your health. One of the reasons I've been overweight for my entire adult life is I have sacrificed my weight for my largely 7-figure income. And I've said this before. If I didn't make what I made now, if I made much less now, I would be 14% body fat now. And I would have been that for years. Going back to 2018, I mean that literally. Much of the weight fluctuations I've had in the last 5-6 years is because of the sacrifice I've done for my income. If I'm not willing to make that sacrifice, then you shouldn't make 7 figures. Stick with 6. Stick with 6 figures. Personal life. You will sacrifice things in your personal life. If you want to have kids, sorry, you're not having any kids going from 6 to 7. And if you do, you're fucked. No. But I want kids. Then either you don't go to 7 figures or you have kids, but you're not going to be around to see them, which is kind of shitty in my view. Okay? Personal life, health, fitness, spirituality. You're going to sacrifice these things. Here's something else you're going to sacrifice, you younger guys. Video games, porn, watching movies, watching TV shows. I have not played a video game since 2018. And I was playing video games. That was a huge part of my life for my entire life, not my adult life. I was playing video games since 1981, before many of you were born. I haven't played a video game since 2018, and it hurts. I see people playing Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm like, oh. That's my thought, like, oh, God, that looks so goddamn good. Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. Oh, God, that looks so good. So good. The last game I played was, I've complained about this before, Pillars of Eternity 2, and I didn't finish it. I finished the main quest, but that's easy. I didn't finish the game. And I keep, I want to play Civilization 5 again. I want to play Alien Isolation. And my heart bleeds for this. Okay, I'm a nerd. I love video games. I have my whole life since I was little. In the early 80s. Sacrificed. Now, will I play video games again? Yes, probably next year. I can't fucking wait. And how long has it been? 6 years? Fuck. But I've sacrificed this. Watching movies, binge watching TV shows. I haven't done that in many, many, many years. If that's a big part of your life or that's something you really do, can't do that anymore. You want to make 7 figures. Sorry. You want to make 7 figures, you're going to be working damn near 7 days a week, damn near all day and many evenings. I'm not willing to do it, then don't make 7 figures. That's what 7 figures takes. 7 figures, people who make 7 figures, and I have a lot of buddies that make this. I have a whole network of friends now, business buddies I've designed for this and masterminds and things like that. Obviously, being in Dubai makes it a lot easier because that's where they all move to. As soon as a guy makes 7 figures, he moves to Dubai because he doesn't want to pay those taxes. Good for him. People who make 7 figures are maniacs. We're not maniacs. We're fanatics. We're not normal, including women who make 7 figures. There are women who make 7 figures. I've met a few. I know a few. They're not normal people. They're fanatics. We're fanatics about funnels and implementation and profit and loss and ROI and LTV. We're fanatics about this. That's what's required to make 7 figures. Now, is it required forever? No. I mean, eventually you could get your 7 figures, get it on autopilot, cut back your hours. That's what I'm doing next year. And then you'll live a good life. That's fine. But I'm just saying the level of commitment that is required for 7 figures is nothing like 6. Any of you can do 6. You can do 6. You can do 7. You just won't want to. You won't want to give up what you want to give up to get to 7. So to go from 6 to 7, you have to make that sacrifice. You're going to sacrifice most other aspects. The only aspect of my life that I did not sacrifice is my relationship sex life with women. That's the only thing I kept. And even that I backed down a lot. I didn't sacrifice it, but I sacrificed everything else. My health, my weight, my spiritual life. I don't have kids. My kids are old now. They're grown, so that's covered. Video games, movies. Some of you have to sacrifice Netflix, porn. Some of you have to sacrifice things like, you're a part of a softball league or baseball league or basketball league. Sorry. Oh, martial arts. Something else you have to sacrifice. I can't, but that's my life. Okay, then don't make 7 figures. Martial arts. I want to get back in that for years. I was martial arts when I was a kid, young man. I want to get back. I want to get my black belt. I had to sacrifice that. Was it worth it? In my opinion, yes, because that's what I want. 7 figures is congruent to my personality and my objectives and my life. And okay, so if it's congruent to you, great. I'm just telling you, it's not like making 6. People just think, oh, you just do more work. No. You have no idea how hard this is. It's hard. I'm a pretty capable business owner. It's hard for me. I've gone through a lot of pain, the good kind of pain that I've talked about in my other channel in the last 2 years. A lot of it. And pain sucks. It sucks. I'm hungry right now, going through physical pain to lose the weight and this. Ugh. Okay. But, I'm congruent to who I am and what I want to be and my true self. So then that's the mental shift you have to make. No, that's not mental. That's logistical in your life. You're going to give up everything in your life except maybe one little thing, and you're going to go all in for your 7-figure income. And you're going to stick with that for years and years until you hit your income goal. Then you can automate, delegate, and back down your work. That's fine. Once you hit whatever goal you want, whatever that goal is for you. If it's $1 million a year, 900,000 a year, 1.5 a year, I don't know, 3 point whatever a year. I tend to operate on monthly income goals. So I have a monthly income goal, one of the many goals I have. Okay. Then the changes you need to make in your business. Well, the changes you need to make in your business, a few changes. Number one is the opposite of what I just said earlier. Instead of having all these income streams, you need to narrow down to one thing as best as you're able. So if you've watched, those who have watched me carefully over the past 5-6 years, when I made this decision, you have watched me over the past 5 or 6 years eliminate things I'm selling. I used to do regular live events, stopped. Used to do the SMIC program, stopped. Used to do the focus program, stop that. Used to write books every year, stop writing books. Used to do new video courses, all the time, stopped. I stopped everything. Why? All in on 90-day Business Builder. That's the one thing I'm going to sell. Now, do I sell other things? Yes, but those aren't the focus. The focus is Business Builder. That's the flagship product. Why? Because you go from 6 to 7, you got to narrow back down to one thing. One amazing thing and one amazing back end or upsell to that thing. Okay, so you sell one thing. So the mindset of 6 figures is lots of things. Sell lots of things, lots of income streams. The mindset of the 7-figure earner is I got to sell one thing that is fucking amazing, that directly addresses the biggest problem of my niche. That's ideally several $1,000s or more. It could be 15,000, 25,000. It depends what you're doing. Okay. And I'm going to sell that one thing. And that's it. And that is the most important thing in my world. Everything else is peripheral. Then you have maybe one or two other things you sell peripherally to that as an upsell, what they call an upsell, point of sale upsell, or a back end, something you sell to X customers of that one thing. That's okay. That's a big shift in your business. And that was a big shift I made. You have to make that when you go to 7. Because guys like Alex Hormozi who say, don't sell a bunch of things, just sell one thing. They're right for 7-figure earners. If you want to make 150,000 a year, 200,000 a year, no, don't sell one thing, please. Sell lots. Sell lots of things. You'll get there faster. Again, you have to pay attention to consider the source, which you say the 80s. Alex Hormozi's awesome, but he makes millions of dollars a year talking to people who want to make millions of dollars a year, not to someone who makes 200,000. That's not his audience. Okay, he doesn't specify that, but that's the facts. That's the first thing. Next thing is you need to start removing yourself from implementation. At the 6-figure level, you're doing all the implementing yourself. And that's fine at the 6-figure. At the 7-figure, you need to start backing away. Less and less and less. And at the 8-figure level, or even close to 8 figures, you're not doing any implementation. That means when customers buy your thing, they never see you. They might see a video of you. You're not involved at all. When you go to like high 7 figures or 8 figures, you're completely out. So the higher you go past 1 million a year, the less you are present in the implementation of what you're doing. You sign up for Business Builder. Is it Caleb doing everything? No, it's Caleb's involved. There's like 8 coaches and they're all amazing. Many of them are better at me. They're all better at me at what they do. So it's a team, but I did it on purpose because I can't be involved in the implementation if I want to scale to 7 or high 7 or 8 or whatever it is. Okay. So that's the next shift you have to make. When you're making 100,000, 200,000, you can do everything yourself. And you probably want to do everything yourself. You can't say, I can't hire someone to do my consulting for me. That would never work. Okay. Fine. If you want to make 150,000 a year, fine. You want to make $1 million? Yeah, you are. You're going to hire a bunch of people to do your input. You're going to get customers and hand them over to your team, and your team's going to take care of them. And you go, oh, well, if you have that's the attitude, then stay at 100,000 a year. It's fine. Okay. Next shift is you need to go hardcore on cold marketing. Hardcore on cold marketing. Just having an online brand, if you want to get to 7 figures and beyond, is not enough. It's not. I'm sorry. With rare exception. Are there unusual, rare exceptions? What about Andrew Tate? And that's not even a good exception because he did a lot of paid marketing. So you have to go all in on paid cold marketing. Funnels. That's what I've been working on the last 6 months. And well, off and on the last 2 years, really in the last 6 months. Hardcore, 100% running ads or cold outreach or cold emails or cold calls. You have a team calling people or calling companies cold. If you have an organic presence and organic income, my organic presence makes me a lot of money. I'm very happy with it. It's not that often. It's not enough to get you to 7. Not often. It almost always is not enough to get you 7. 6, yes. 7, nope. Nope. So you got to go. You have to become a fucking cold marketing expert, not organic marketing, not how to SEO YouTube videos. That's not going to get you to 7 figures. Probably won't even get you to 6. It might get you 6. Won't get you 7. That's the next shift you have to make in your business. Okay. While you're sacrificing everything in your life and busting your ass and going, God, and looking at spreadsheets and dashboards going, oh, fuck. I've been doing a lot of that last 6 months. Oh my God, fuck. That's it. I can talk more about that, but that's the bottom line. Let me give you a different slide there. Caleb, what about 8 figures? I don't make 8 figures, so I don't teach what I don't know. I haven't done, so I can't tell you about that. And none of my goals require me to make 8 figures. 8 figures is what? Is that 10 million a year? Yeah. 10 million plus a year income. I don't need to make 10 million a year. I'm good. Could I make 10 million a year plus at some point down the road when I'm old man? Yes. Matter of fact, that's probably likely, but that's not something I care about or want right now. I don't give a shit. I have very specific financial objectives that will make me happy for the rest of my life, even with AI, even with America collapsing. I'm good. As I've said, I'm good to go. I'm fine. So I don't need more. And the reason, something else, and I'll answer your questions. The reason that I lost that thought. This wasn't exactly the thought, but it's close to it. What do you want your life to look like after you've made all this money? What are your priorities outside of money? Now, you may not have any. Alex Hormozi, Sam Ovens, guys like that don't have huge priorities outside of their money. Their whole life is, I want to be a billionaire, which I don't. Charlie Morgan, okay? These are good guys. I like these guys, but they're not like me. Do I want to be a billionaire? Fuck no. I don't want to be famous. I don't want to work that hard the rest of my life. No, thank you. Now, I'm older than almost all these guys, so that as age has something to do with this too. I'm in my 50s. There are parts of my life, and if you know my other channel, you know this. There are big, important parts of my life that are just as important to me as money. Money is critical, but there are other parts of my life. I have some women in my life who are very important to me. I have some hobbies. Writing fiction is very, very important to me. I have Five Flags travel stuff. It's very important to me. I want to get into more of my spiritual life in my 50s. Very important to me. So I have other aspects that are important to me besides money. Now, money takes priority right now, but not forever. So starting in April, I can now start shifting my priorities to these other parts of my life. So I have already identified how much money I need to make myself 100% happy and safe for the rest of my life, going to age 100, so I can focus on other areas while still working. I'm never going to retire. Retiring is stupid. Please don't think about retirement. That's ridiculous. Never going to retire. That's ridiculous. But I'll cut back my work hours because I'll be at a level where I'm okay. So that's what you need to figure out for yourself. Unless you want to be a billionaire. There's a small percentage of you, fuck 7 figures. I want to be a billionaire. Great. That's going to consume your life in a good way. Go do that. We need more people like you. The world needs more men like Alex Hormozi, Sam Evans, these guys. We need more testosterone-driven men. These men are dying. We need them. I'm very happy we have them. I'm one of them, not billionaire level. So that's the decision you have to make for yourself. Okay. All right. Okay. Your questions. If you want to work with me, www.caleb.top/UAT. Your deadline is Sunday night. And if I don't get 30 signups, I'm never doing this and we're not doing it. Cool. I commented last time on being a copywriter and how fucked we are. LOL. Do you have any former copywriters and 9-day biz builder? I'm not the person to ask about that. I don't know. We have a lot of people on that program. Maybe. I think we do. You have to ask Billy or Jeff. I don't know. Answer that question. Are they doing anything adjacent to copywriting that's safer? I wouldn't do anything adjacent to copywriting. You can do marketing, but it would be very niche, not copywriting. I wouldn't do anything adjacent to that. Is it safe? Okay, I'm not answering any questions about fasting. That's my other channel. I'm building an online business to 12K per month, no team, no 7 figures. Okay. I want to lock it in and coast like you did during your woman phase. What would that look like for you in terms of income and hours? Oh, what did that look like for you? 12K a month. So what that looked like for me is I took 3-day weekends every weekend. So for years, I worked Monday through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, no work. Did that for years. Easy to do it at low 6 figures, no problem. That's what it looked like. In terms of income, it was around that level. It was around that little more. But yeah, no, that's a good life. Hey man, 6 figures, location dependent. When you follow alpha tuple business models, it's a good life, man. That's why so few people go to 7. Like, why bother? It's awesome. I'm telling you, it was great. How do you stay so positive and good vibes seemingly all the time? It's not seemingly. This is how I really am. I mean, women who know me and men, like when people introduce me to other people and they see me like at a restaurant or something, they're like, yeah, he's always happy. Really trying to make an effort to be more positive after a tough period. Any tips would be great. Many thanks. Do everything I recommend on my other channel. Let's go through the list very quickly. 8 hours of sleep every night. Drink water all day. Go get a test for your testosterone and hormonal levels and balance those fuckers out. Exercise hard at least every other day. Have sex frequently, ideally with women you find attractive. Mission and vision and goals. Review them. Do everything I do. And you'll be, if not as happy as me, 80% close. I do everything I recommend. That's why I'm happy. Meditate. I mean, just do everything I do. What do you think about drop shipping? I think it's fine, but you shouldn't do it in your first business. You always encourage us to make more money and increase our income in life. Yes, because the vast majority of you do not make $85,000 a year. That's why, correct. My question is, how important is actually making a lot of money, becoming a good provider, and supporting our women financially? That's up to you. Every man needs to make their own decision. And if you're a woman, you need to make that. There's no right or wrong answer to that. To me, at my point in my life right now, I've talked to this on the channel, I love being a provider to a small number of people. I like it. It makes me feel good. I have a very strong paternal aspect to my personality. A lot of men don't give a fuck, then don't do that. Some men are really into that. Great. But you better make a lot of money. So, yeah, it's up to you. What do you think about learning cybersecurity? No. Start a cybersecurity niched business. Cybersecurity is not a niche, and hire technicians to do it for you. You don't need to learn how to do it. I'm an electrician, so I'm pretty safe from automation. You are. But even I'm starting a remote operation, safe. Okay. Yeah, if you're an electrician, you're safe from AI, but you're location dependent, which is unacceptable. So you're not exempt from anything I'm saying, buddy. You got to start your own business, get the hell out of the collapsing West. What would you need to make in Thailand, Colombia, Rio de Janeiro to be emperor level 50K in Paraguay? I don't want to give you exact numbers. Around that. I can't give you exact numbers, sorry. You can do your own research. Ask perplexity.ai. Can your second, third business be a physical product business? As long as it's, in my world, as long as it's location independent, your second, third business can be anything you want. It could be B2C. It could be an influencer. It could be selling hard products. As long as it's location independent. That's the only rule you can't break. Can't be location independent. Be anything you want. That's the beauty of your second, third business. Be writing fiction novels, anything you want. Remember reading your book that making money and having a good life is the two wheels on your mandatory for happiness. Yes, my question is how are the two intercorrelated? I mean, it's like income directly proportional to our woman life. I mean, like, how does our increased income affect our woman life? Okay, it doesn't. It doesn't necessarily. All I said was they're both critical. You can't blow your brains out and make a lot of money and never have sex. You will be miserable. Or you can't blow your brains out and be monogamous to one woman, if not discuss that on this channel, and be happy long term. And you can't be a player and get laid all the time and ignore and not make any money. You need both. That's all I said. There's a lot of intercorrelating stuff, but you need to ask me on another channel for that stuff. Imagine for some reason you don't have any skills with market value. Okay. That's not true. You do, but okay. And you're starting from scratch. How would you start as a consultant? You identify a niche, find out what the biggest problem is. Then you go on Upwork and hire technicians / admin people who know how to solve that problem and use them as subcontractors. I've done it. Is the weekly Telegram office hour thing can be done inside a Telegram group? Or can we send you a message question to your Telegram personally? I don't know. I'm not setting that part up. That's a good question. I'll ask the group what they prefer. How many people have signed up already? I don't know. Don't care. I'm not going to care about money. I'm not going to depend. Don't care. Did you play Dark Souls before you quit? No, I never played Dark Souls. No, there's some big games I never played. How much that sacrifice, health, money, fitness, spirituality, video games, etc., what personally motivated you with that much sacrifice? What personally motivated you to reach the 7-figure income? I remember it said freedom is what motivates you. Yes. You already achieved freedom with 6 figures. Why bother to strive for more? Why is it not enough for you? It was not enough for me for the lifestyle I wanted. So I did what I recommend. I have a vision. I have a written document of everything in my life that's perfect for me. Okay. Then I have a mission attached to that. Okay. Then how I want to live from age 53 to age 100 plus. I have an exact picture of that. Then I have the collapse of the Western world and the AI takeover that I have to protect myself from. Read Freedom Fortress on how to do that. So I have all these things integrated. Then I mapped out exactly how I put it together, how much money I need to make and to be worth and to own 3 different things: businesses, investment portfolios, and income. How much taxes, limited tax to pay, added that all up, attached some numbers, and that's what I need to make for all that. So my perfect life requires a certain amount of money. It was more than what I was making in 2018 when I made this decision. I'm almost there. I'm quite close. Not as close as I want to be, but that's why. I've said this many times, I didn't just pull a number out of my ass. I want to make $1 billion. That's it. Where'd you get that number? I want to make 100,000 here. Where'd you get that number? I want to make $1 million. Where'd you get that? These numbers are meaningless. You start with your mission, vision, how you want to protect yourself, what your family life looks like for the next 25, 50, 60, whatever years. Then you extrapolate how much that's going to cost you. And then you pick the number. That's what I did. Based on what you were talking about yesterday, 2 things. My girlfriend in Paraguay broke. Okay, I'm not talking about girls on this channel. Is this a well-defined niche? I help psychotherapists that specialize in addiction recovery get more clients and improve their own. No, get more clients and improve online presence is not a niche. That's a solution. You don't know if psychotherapists that specialize in addiction recovery have that problem. Everyone's in therapy now in the Western world. And most psychotherapists I know have too much business. So you're assuming what they want, but you can't do. That's a terrible, terrible idea. And psychotherapists who specialize in addiction is not niche enough. So that is very bad. Do you think a 7-figure business person could make 30 minutes a day to work out? Yes, of course. You can do 30 minutes a day. I did. Yeah, 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes 4 or 5 days a week. Sure. But that means you're not doing anything else. That's the one area you're not sacrificing. You get one area you don't get a sacrifice. You can keep. You get one. So you're like, well, I want to work out. Okay, there's your one. That's what Alex Hormozi did, right? He worked out and he blew his brains out with his work and everything else thrown in the trash. At least temporary. If you do it right, you have to only sacrifice for a season at a time. Correct, I said that. You have to sacrifice forever. I'm going to play video games again, trust me. Oh, trust me. That day is coming. Not this year, hopefully next year. So yeah, it's not forever. Right. It's temporary. But it could be 5 years. It could be 10 years. It could be 15 years. What's the main reason for eliminating all the other things? Because you have to, or else you will not make 7 figures. It's literally impossible. 7 figures requires that level of time. All you really need is $20 million to never work instead of generational wealth. Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be that number. It could be even lower. Sure. If that's your goal. Generational wealth is not my objective. I don't give a fuck about my kids. I love my kids, but I'm not busting my ass to give them a bunch of money, free money. But if that's important to you, do it. We all have our own goals. Setting up generational wealth and leaving a legacy, none of that. I don't give a fuck about that stuff. But that's not Unchained CEO, or that's Caleb Jones' personal opinion. So you do what you want. If you want generational wealth, great, do it. I'm going to join UAT. Hope others do. But if not, will freedom focus formula be accessible? No, I'm cutting back on coaching. I'm already doing that. I've already done that starting last year. I cut way back on coaching with people. I don't have time. I'm not getting out of implementation. I follow my own advice. And so people don't sign up for this. I know this is not something you want. I'm good. It'll be bittersweet if this doesn't work. Part of me will be like, oh, that sucks. But if I'm like, oh, thank God. So I'm just, it's leaving it up to you guys. The technique you taught us last week, yes, about fulfilling our promises. After doing it for how long will we see real changes, results? Or perhaps how many fulfilled promises? About 3 weeks-ish. 3 weeks-ish. Maybe sooner, but you need to give it about 3 weeks for you to see real shit. Like, whoa, something's happening here. Took me about 3 weeks. So around 3. Now, you could notice something sooner. Maybe it's 4 weeks. So that's around 3 weeks. Around 3. So you need to put it on faith. I've already talked to people who've done this. And they're like, holy, 1 week. And they're like, oh, my God. I'll talk more about that technique in another podcast. To me, it's worth sacrificing 5 to 10 years to make that. Great. I agree with you. But not everyone agrees with you. Some people don't agree with us. That's fine. Okay. 12K per month, location dependent on a 4-day weekend. Damn, that sounds amazing. 3-day weekend, 3-day weekend, 3-day week. 4-day work week. 4-day work week, which I'm going back to. I'm going back to that hopefully next year. Going back to a 4-day or 3-day work week. Hopefully. We'll see how well Caleb does. Get to work, Caleb. How do you, hang on, I got to check the time here. All right, I got to go in less than 10 minutes. How do you make the difficult decision to go to after 7 figures or not? If you were asking that question, you don't want to go to 7 figures. You don't want to. If you're already asked that question, you don't want to. Go to 6. You would know already. You'd know. It'd be in your heart. I'm on the 3rd day of your promise myself technique. I noticed that the moment I have thought to do something. Now I immediately start working on getting it done. Is this normal? Yeah. Yeah. Could be placebo effect. Could be, sure. But in my world, I don't care. I normally would procrastinate or overthink things to the point I was paralyzed and now everything needed to be perfect. That's most of my audience. It's called LISIG, low income smart guy. That's the majority of you, or at least the plurality of you. You're smart, talented guys who could make more money than me, but just think about everything all day. And you listen to podcasts and YouTube videos, and you do spreadsheets, and you read and you think about stuff. And you don't do anything. It's another version of being a beta male pussy. What about trading? Go ahead. Why don't you do it? Not my thing. I Caleb, I'm in Dubai trying to start my first business, but I feel lack of sex. I don't talk about sex in this channel. Outside of the price of your program, how much would you say it costs to hire out contractors and market secure clients? It's too broad a question. Depends on what you're doing. Who's your niche? What is the service you're offering? I don't know what you're doing. No idea. The 7-figure you're taking is per year, right? Yes, 7-figure income, not net worth. Net worth is an entirely separate conversation, which I've done. Is it gross profit, net profit? That is net personal income before taxes, not gross. It's easy to gross $1 million. That's easy. Sell a bunch of cars, you'll gross $1 million. That's not income. Also, do we need an online social media presence to do this? No, you do not. A lot of my 7-figure buddies have no social media online presence. They just run ads. You don't need that. No. You need a personal brand to protect yourself from AI. That's a separate topic. That's why I have one. So, is the promise yourself technique from another video recently? Sorry, yes, last week. Look at my things last week. All right, last question. How much do you spend per month for your lifestyle? Very, very little. I look at my Paraguay apartment walkthrough, and you'll laugh how small it is. Very little. Do you really need 7 figures? You've asked me that question before. I need it for my long-term future, for investments and things like that. Do I want to buy a big fancy house? No, I don't. It's not my goal. My goals are something else. All right, I got to go. If you want to work with me, personal attention from me every week, www.caleb.top/UAT. If I don't get at least 30 signups, I'm refunding your money, and I will never offer this ever again. It's literally your last chance. But we'll see. I'm just going to wait, and we'll see Monday morning who does this, or I guess Sunday night at midnight if I'm awake. I don't think I'll be awake. I'll be asleep by then. So I'll wake up and I'll order my chair and look to see the number of signups. And if it's over 30, I'm doing it. I will work with you for the long-term future. If it's under 30, you've told me you don't want to do this. So it's all up to you. Cool. All right. See you guys next week. Bye.